What's up, guys? It's Crashin. Thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. That's insane. That's a huge number. I never really asked people to subscribe, so to have 10,000 people like hit that button of their own volition is just super awesome. So thank you guys so much. We have a big Gray Zone Warfare video to get through today. I know I've been on a little bit of hiatus. Work has been wild. I've been traveling. I got COVID. I'm back. We're chilling. Here we go. A lot of Gray Zone Warfare information. I was lucky enough, thank you to Madfinger Games for being part of a creator call to kind of do a preview of the roadmap. I know everyone's excited for the roadmap to see what's coming, and kind of more importantly at this point, when is it coming to the game, the Gray Zone Warfare. You know, we've heard that the game is 20% complete. What is that other 80%? So I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna be looking at notes a little bit, do my best to get through all this information for you guys, because there is a lot of it here. And before I get into it, I just want to say I think the game has come a fair bit of ways since the beginning. It's quite a bit different game now. Optimization still has some way to go. I think the caveat being there, it's a current gen game or a next gen game. Like, it's not ever gonna be, you know, 2K 150 frames on a 2060. That's just not how it's gonna be, but it's getting better. The rubber banding is a lot less. There's been some quality of life fixes and updates, and it might be worth checking out if you've been out of it for a while. With that being said, I know a lot of people are waiting on the sidelines for some of these big marquee features, and I just want to say I'll talk about it a little bit at the end. But just before I get into this stuff, this game, and I've said this on Twitter several times, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You have a studio without a giant publisher, a relatively small team for this kind of ambitious of a project, and they released it to get funding to be able to finish it. So they released 20% of the game. Those of us that believed in it bought the game, and then we'll see now if they can get it complete. But a lot of this stuff, you know, they had really good sales. The funding and stuff should be there. I think they're going to get it done, and I think we will be rewarded for patience, but it is going to take a little bit of time. A lot of other games have had several years to complete this, so I say let's try to give them some time and see what happens, because some of this stuff sounds really cool. All right, so let's get into it. We know that day-night cycle is right around the corner. This one's taking a little bit longer because launch things had to be fixed at launch, but they are still trying for that 6-month cadence of big patches. So it's going to kind of work with 4 months to develop, and it seems kind of like a month of like, so right after the update they'll have a month for technical fixes and then a month to prepare for kind of the next one. So it's like a 4 month of really working on it with a kind of a month buffer on each side. I did get to see the day-night cycle in action, and it's sick. And you know, true to Gray Zone Warfare and Madfinger Games with the level of detail, they actually took the real star pattern from Laos, the country's, you know, the place that this is based after, and you can, it's the actual star pattern for that. Like, you would see the actual where they are in the sky. So that's pretty cool, and it looks really, really cool. But overall, the game, it's going to take a couple years. It's going to take, you know, 2, maybe 3 years. So I know a lot of me, myself, when I heard that, I'm like, dang it, man. Like, I want 1.0 right now. I do. I want 1.0 right now. This is a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take, but if you kind of step back and look at other games and how long they took, it's kind of reasonable. But anyway, here we go. 1.0 is going to be awesome. But the next thing that's coming along with the day-night cycle, there's a lot of quality of life stuff that I'm going to get into towards the end of the video. I'm not 100% sure based on how they said it where that's going to fall, but I think that's coming sooner rather than later. And some of the IR stuff and the night vision stuff is going to go with it. I really want to talk to you guys about night vision because they're doing some really cool stuff, some detail-based stuff to make it pretty darn accurate to real life. So it's really cool. So the guns that are going to be added, I can break this to you guys. There's going to be the newer AK series, so like AK-12s, AK-15s. So the newer AKs are going to be added in. They did say those are very hard to get a hold of in the Czech Republic, but they did, and they're going to be modeled perfectly, and that's going to be coming in 0.2. And the big patches are going to be talked about like that. So the day-night cycle and all the quality of life stuff coming from that is going to be 0.2. 6 months later is going to be the 0.3 update. The next one is going to be 0.4 and 0.5. And I have information for you guys all the way up until 0.5. So this is essentially a preview to the roadmap. So the one after that, so about 6 months after the day-night cycle, is going to be focused on storytelling and a lot of lore and the weather. There's going to be logbooks and newspapers that you can gather and read and discover and decipher what happened about that. They also said a big unique feature is coming. I don't know what that's going to be. So there's going to be a big new unique feature in the 0.3 update. I get, like, I want to speculate maybe dragging players that had to be delayed. So I don't know. But they want the actual weather to be like an actual weather simulation and not just like particles on the screen. So again, pushing the limits of, you know, graphics and fidelity and how things look. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more lore, and he really thinks with how the quests are going to update and how the lore and stuff is going to be, there's going to be a lot more to do on the map and a lot more to look around. And at that 0.3 update, there's going to be some stuff going along with it that can make you play a lot more hours. So he thinks the game will be able to sink more hours into it on that 0.3 update. Weapon and armor repair. So with the 0.2 patch, we're getting weapon durability, and how durability looks is really cool. It's actually by weapon part, and you can also see the weapons degrade and get dirty and look worn. When the 0.2 patch comes, we're just gonna have to wear them out, buy a new gun. I'm gonna die before I even get to wear one out anyway, so it's not a huge deal. But then in the next 0.3, that's when they're gonna add in weapon and armor repair. So that's gonna be awesome to be able to repair your weapons. If you get one you're attached to and you keep it for a long time, you'll be able to repair that one, so that'll be sweet. And then in the patch 3, the CZ platforms are coming. So think even the newly announced Bryn 3 gun is coming. So there's going to be CZ platforms, and it'll be really cool. And patch 3, 0.3 is going to be where the one after day night cycle 0.3 is going to be big AI improvements. So they're going to be constantly iterated on with every fix, but big AI changes to make them feel a lot better are going to be in the 0.3 update. And then 0.4, which is going to hopefully be around the end of 2025. I know, guys, we're talking way in the future, but this is what has planned, and I'm assuming you guys are going to all see this whenever the roadmap launches. But that's when they're going to be adding skills, and skills are going to be working differently than any other game, Mara has said. So we know back when they were very first talking about it, if you remember, we talked about on this channel, rather than just using the gun and stuff, like if you wanted to level up your sniper skill in Tarkov, you know, you run around and just load and unload the gun. This is going to be actually, you like have to go to a place and work with a sniper instructor and do quests. Now, that's what I remember they were kind of talking about pre-launch, like pre-early access launch, very, very early. I don't know if that's still what they're going to be doing, but there's going to be a unique way that hasn't been in other games to do skills. That's going to be in 0.4, and that's also where they're going to bring the FOBs, the forward operating bases that you can clear and access vendors and spawn points. 0.4 sounds like a sick update, so that's what I'm saying. Like by the end of next year, I think this is going to be a completely different game. It's taking time, but like I said, it's a very, very ambitious project. I hope they can get through it. So yeah, with that, you can clear it, take over the FOB, and then you'll have access to vendors and spawn points. So huge, you'll be able to respawn there, so you don't have to fly from all the way back at your FOB. That'll be really cool. They're still designing this as well, but there's going to be a rogue PMC function, right? So you can get kicked out of your faction. They don't want to make it to just where you can team kill, because that will encourage people to like team kill and stuff, to be kicked out. They want to kind of make it like a rogue quest line, like you can follow to like maybe sabotage some other quests or something, and you can be kicked out. It'll be pretty fun for streamers and stuff to kind of be hunted, to go rogue and have people try to find them. But rogue PMCs can still take the FOBs and have access to those information, but they can't use the main base. So that's going to be really cool. And then whenever your faction overtakes a FOB, one of the forward operating bases that are kind of around, then your like the guards that are at the main base, those start to spawn for you there. So it actually becomes a base for you. So that'll be really cool to have, you know, a new place with a new trader, and a new spawn point, which is super sick. And there could be people fighting over it at any point in time. And then the next one after that, so we're going way, way, way in the future, is going to be early 2026. 0.5 is going to add the crafting and workbenches and the new vendor that goes along with that, as well as HK platform. So that's going to be a set of guns that needs to go in there for sure. And the ground zero and the roadside picnic and all that stuff is being held clear until 1.0. So there's still a big reveal when the game does go into 1.0, hopefully in 2026. So that's something that's going to be there. That's going to be like the big grand finale for the game when everything else is complete. And, you know, we talked about how there's going to be 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. It's not necessarily all the way to 0.9 until it gets to version 1.0. So it's going to be less than that from what it sounds like. So it's not going to be like 2028 when the game is complete. So yeah, that's essentially what we know so far. Now, there are a ton of quality of life changes coming that I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping they're in this next update. I think the way he was talking about them, they're going to be sooner rather than later. Diagonal sprinting is coming. That one gets me quite a bit. You guys know when you're sprinting forward and you try to go left or right at a diagonal, it takes you out of sprint. So that's definitely one. Faction patches are coming. And this is one where Mara compromised. He didn't want there to be any kind of visual identity. He wanted people to take things slowly. You have to kind of figure out before you start to shoot who and what you're shooting at. However, he did do a compromise. There's going to be faction patches on one side of the shoulder that will be visible with night vision. So I don't know if it's going to have like an IR capability to it, but it will be visible at night, and people are going to have faction arm patches on one arm. Then at some point, we're going to be able to see bullet paths in kill cams to see like how the bullet pass through, which is going to be really cool. They're constantly working on optimization, as we know, with confirmed DLSS and FSR versions that are going to be updated. He really thinks that he mentioned that the weather is really going to change stuff quite a bit. It's going to be more than just particles on your screen. Again, I put on my notes how cool it was that the actual star map from Laos was going to be added. And how the NVGs are going to work. We got to see a sneak peek at the night vision goggles, and we got to see a single tube one. And it was really cool because how actual night vision works, you have to focus, right? Like it has a depth of field. So either really far away or close or somewhere in between can be in focus, and the rest of it's going to be blurry. And how a lot of people set them up is they go to infinity. So like everything is in focus. However, super up close stuff is not. And a lot of games don't get this right, but your gun and everything is really, really blurry, and that's the case. But they had it set up really cool on the screen to where it was like one tube on the right side of the screen that was your eye, that was your white phosphorus that you could see. You could see everything through night vision, and your gun was blurry. But if you needed to shoot up close, they're going to add a toggle where you can cant your gun, so you can look out of your left eye if you want to look non-night vision, so you can toggle your gun on your naked eye view or your night vision view, which I thought was really cool. And then everything is coming along with that. There's going to be also later down the road other colors of night vision. So far this one was like a greenish whitish phosphor one. Then there's going to be lasers and flashlights, IR lights, like all that stuff is going to be added, but currently it was white. And AI is being iterated on, right? Like 0.3 is the update that you can look for big AI improvements, but they're constantly being iterated on. And Mara even said in his own word, he knows it sucks. So they are working on that. The map is going to be changed quite a bit with POIs, and then the secondary camps added in 0.3. Loads and reload canceling is coming. All those animations have to be fixed and changed and added, so those are definitely coming. The dragon characters had to be pushed back a little bit. That's why I'm hoping that the 0.3 update has that in there. That's the big feature that they aren't revealing quite yet. That's what I was kind of hoping for. Straight up backpack looting is coming. I think that is huge. Helicopters are going to be changed quite a bit. I really think these are in the 0.2, but don't hold me to this. I just know they're coming fairly soon. Helicopters are going to be coming from any part of the map, so they will be faster. They don't have to come from the fob, so they're going to take like the shortest direction to get to you. So it's going to make helicopters quite a bit faster. I was really glad to hear valuable items are coming. So I've said this in several videos and on the podcast that like, if you want to do PvP, there's no way to make money without doing quests. If you're quest lock and just kind of want to run around and be silly and lose some gear, there's no way to make that money back. But that's going to change with valuable loot coming really soon. Faction messenger and full radio is actually going to be coming later, so you can radio people in the faction. They're going to be constantly working on the economies changing, and there is going to be a vendor inventory. So on the server, vendors can run out of things. And then when talking about weapon durability, that's going to be a very involved process and procedure. You're going to be able to see the cosmetic changes. Weather can make them dirty when weather is added later, and it's by part. It's durability of each part, not the whole gun. Temperature can affect it. Like if it's hot and you shoot your gun like a whole bunch and get it really hot, it's going to lower your durability even faster. So yeah, that's really cool. They also said that they're making really good progress on some CPU fixes for CPU bound cases. And again, talked about like there's never going to be any battle passes or pay to win kind of stuff. And all cosmetic items are still, you know, they're still working on making those available later, and that going to charity to help war affected families and stuff like that. So I thought that is really cool. And again, durability is coming next update. Repairability is coming the update after that. So that is everything that I took down in my notes. Again, thank you so much for Madfinger for letting me have this information to reveal it to you guys. And what do I think of this? I want this game now. I want 1.0 right now. You know, I got the taste of Gray Zone, you know, at early access launch with all the bumps and stuff that we expected. It's now gotten to where it plays a fair amount smoother, and you can get into it and I can enjoy it. My game doesn't crash very often at all. And it feels quite a bit better. But it's like, then I hear this stuff and I'm like, I almost wish they wouldn't tell me, because like I'm really, really impatient for this kind of stuff, man. Like I so want this game to be 1.0, but we are gonna have to be patient. And some people aren't gonna be. Some people are gonna say, you know, I paid my money. I wanted this even though there was early access written all over it. I felt like also on Steam, you know, for those of people who are saying they're not doing enough, on Steam, they listed out, and I made a video only about this subject. They talked about what was going to be at early access and what they were working on for 1.0. And you know, there was going to be time in between there. I was really hoping for a year or so, but it sounds like it's going to be a couple years, and this game is going to be completely different. So what I recommend doing, guys, is with each patch, hop in, check it out, put some time into it. If it's still not up to where you think it should be, wait around for the next one. But there is good fun to be had in this game. It is open world where you can do everything, and each patch, I really do think it's just going to get better and better. And I really appreciate the honesty of these developers, and really rooting for Madfinger Games and hoping they can get this done, because as I've thought, I really think patience can be rewarded. But I will admit, the patience is even going to be trying on me, guys. Like, I want 1.0 now. I want some of this stuff now, man. I want day-night cycle. I want durability. I want to shoot the Bren 3. I want that CZ Bren 3 rifle, man, so bad. Like, all that stuff sounds so sick. You know, having skills, having the Rogue PMC, just something that I can hang out on stream and sink hours into. I think it's on the horizon, but it is a ways out. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'm starting to ramble. That's my thoughts on everything. Patience is going to pay off here, and I totally get it if you don't have it in you, because I barely do. I barely do. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, that's actually incredible. I can't thank you enough for all the support on the channel. There's a lot of good stuff coming up ahead. So you know what? We hit 10,000. If you want to subscribe, hit the button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.